violence or no other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, at school, in my car, I can still get shot by the police, but I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
What's good, YouTube? It's the Black Gen Z Mindset. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe. Let's get into the video.
We miss him terribly. He's been gone far too long.
There is a dream involving this country road in Granbury.
It's an absolute nightmare.
A dream this family desperately wants to be real.
Imagine your child being kidnapped and how you think that would feel, then multiply that by 1,000 times.
To one day see their son, Trevor Reed, returning home down this road because of war in Ukraine. That dream is slowly dying.
It's extremely frustrating that there's been no progress made.
Reed is in a Russian prison camp, serving 9 years. The Russian FSB says Reed, a former Marine and presidential guard for the Obama administration, drunkenly assaulted a Russian officer while visiting years ago.
Wow. So this guy put his hands on a Russian officer, serving 9 years in a Russian prison. And obviously his family wants him back home. And the U.S. is just like, hey, it's not much we can do. You broke their laws. This isn't our jurisdiction. So it don't look like he's coming home anytime soon, especially since what's popping off between Russia and Ukraine.
American officials say the charge is absurd and baseless, saying Reed likely was arrested as a bargaining chip for a future prisoner swap with the U.S.
We were surprised to hear from him.
For the first time in 232 days, Reed phoned his parents in Granbury on Friday. Bad news, he's sick with tuberculosis, not getting any treatment, they say.
Trevor said he is spitting up, coughing up blood every day. He's running a fever. He has pain in his lung. And he's overall just feeling pretty crummy, and they are refusing to test him or to give him medical treatment.
Dang.
And now that WNBA star Brittney Griner is being detained in Russia for allegedly carrying hash oil in her airport luggage, the Reeds sympathizing with her family.
Uh-oh. The dogs came up on, bro. I mean, if this dude ain't getting out, Brittney Griner is not coming home, y'all. She got the cool gray 11. She thought she was just gonna skate past with the weed oil in her bag. You got caught in another country. It doesn't make any sense to me why you would do this. Go to another country and break their laws. Like you think you're just gonna slide by, and she probably's done it before. But this time they wasn't playing with her. And it is what it is, man. It's crazy, but don't look like she coming home.
Airport luggage, the Reeds sympathizing with her family.
Hold on, look at her jacket. Look at her jacket, man. I know that joint don't say Black Lives Matter, bruh. What does it say? I can't even tell.
Reeds sympathy.
It says Black Lives Black something.
Reeds sympathizing with her family.
We understand exactly how they're feeling because we've had that too. So it's not a good club to be in.
They've also asked to meet with President Biden as he visits Fort Worth this week. One message: make deals to bring their son and other Americans home now before this gets any worse.
And Biden refused. So if he ain't meeting with them, he is not meeting with Brittney Griner's folks.
He was the first friend in the world I ever had, and I would very much like to see him again.
In Granbury, I'm Matt Howerton.
As the diplomatic ties between the U.S. and Russia crumble, a WNBA star is caught in the middle. Phoenix Mercury center Brittney Griner was arrested on drug charges after Russian customs officials said they found vape cartridges that contained cannabis oil in her luggage.
Wow, I mean, why would it doesn't make sense to me. And she got a lot of them too. Like, it's not just one.
At an airport near Moscow in February. Griner remains in custody.
I've talked to a couple of sources, and they said it's been a couple of weeks that this has been going on. One source said since the NBA All-Star game.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken gave few specifics on Griner's case.
Whenever an American is detained anywhere in the world, we of course stand ready to provide every possible assistance.
Assistance, but not bringing her home.
And that includes in Russia.
The episode comes as the United States has implemented economic sanctions on Russia as its assault on Ukraine intensifies.
What does the timing of the detention tell you?
I think it tells you everything. The trajectory of the case now will probably be different. And so they will definitely look for a sort of a certain bargaining chip effect, propaganda effect.
Given the timing of this, does the U.S. have limited leverage given what's going on in Ukraine?
Oh, for sure. So President Putin has declared that the West is at war with him by levying these economic sanctions. He has likened them to war. And so this being an American citizen who can potentially be accused of carrying a substance she was not supposed to be carrying, of course, whether that actually corresponds to the facts, we don't even know.
I mean, they opened up her luggage before she even checked it, or after she checked it, whatever. The dogs alerted to it. Bro, that was not planted. Lord have mercy. I seen them trying though.
No, and I wouldn't put anything beyond the authorities there. This is probably a propaganda trick.
Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, who represents Griner's home city of Houston, calling for her release.
I don't want to disregard a sovereign nation, but Putin has disregarded sovereign nations his entire service.
What is she finna do? This is obviously a media play for her. The sister defending another sister. I mean, obviously we want Brittney Griner to come home, even though she made a mistake. Okay, it was a dumb mistake. It was very stupid, but she made a mistake. I don't think she deserves to be locked down for 10 years, which is what she's looking at, with the substances that she was charging and the charges that the Russians are going to implement upon her. I bet she wishes that she would have been arrested in a U.S. airport with those drugs on her, because you would have got a slap on the wrist and you would have been out by now. Definitely.
In this world, and anyone that is killing and attacking and destroying Ukraine, their neighboring country, that does not bother them, has no right to hold Miss Griner, period.
That has not bothered them. Okay. You know, there's a lot going on. I'm not going to speak on it, but this ain't happened overnight. To say that Ukraine has not bothered Russia is a stretch.
And Griner's wife, breaking her silence in an Instagram post, thanking everyone for their support and writing, quote, "Please honor our privacy as we continue to work on getting my wife home safely." Back home in Houston, Griner's high school coach grew emotional, worried Griner could face severe consequences.
She said, "I told her stop taking the weed to the airport."
And you can't stay off the weed. He ain't getting busted for using weed. Stays off the weed. You couldn't stay off the weed. Stay off the damn weed. And they don't listen. Stupid.
What's your biggest fear?
My biggest fear is that this will become that she'll be a political pawn.
If she, by any chance, watches this story, what would you tell her?
I would tell her, please know that you are loved by so many people. You've always had a true resolve and grit to get to the finish line, and know that you will get to the finish line of this trial you're going through, of this ordeal.
I'm here on the corner of MLK and Frederick Douglass, where a shooting just took place. And as you can see, it's a pretty rough area. So I'm basically risking my life reporting on this madness. So make sure you do me a favor and hit the subscribe button. Like the video, hell, share the video. And make sure you go ahead and leave a comment down in the comments section to continue the discussion on how we can find solutions to all this son violence in the streets. I'm Jenquavius Jackson, here live, reporting from Atlanta, Georgia, BGZM News 17.
Story we're following. Phoenix Mercury star Brittney Griner arrested in Russia. Customs officials arresting her weeks ago, accusing her of having cannabis oil in her suitcase, which is illegal in Russia. Tonight, Zach Crenshaw shows us why some are calling for more to be done to get her home.
Griner gets free and throws it down! She's a 7-time All-Star, 2-time gold medalist, and champion in both college and the WNBA. Blocked by Griner! But tonight, Brittney Griner remains in Russia. How she's being treated is still a mystery.
We have no idea. And the people, whoever does know, those people are not talking.
That's why author and journalist Tamron Spruill started a Change.org petition.
I think it would be great for people in our government, but then also in sports.
A petition? Sisters are just activists out. Like, all we know how to do is petition and protest, and occasionally riot. And the combination is not working.
To really be speaking out about this and making it an issue. I feel like the WNBA and the Phoenix Mercury, everybody's been kind of quiet about it.
Outside of,
because they know they're powerless, they can't do anything about it.
Vague statements from the team, league, and State Department, information about Griner has been hard to come by. Russian officials only saying she was arrested for allegedly having cannabis oil in her suitcase back in February, as she tried to return to the U.S. following her time playing in the Russia League. If true, it's a crime that carries up to a 10-year sentence in Russia. It's also against U.S. federal law to fly with marijuana products.
Well, she's breaking international laws at this point. But let me tell you something. If she would have got locked up in the U.S. with that, man, I know dudes who done been locked up with worse on them. And even look at what's his name? Juice WRLD. When he was about to get arrested because they had drugs on the plane and he swallowed the drugs and passed away, unfortunately. What he doesn't understand about the criminal justice system is he was gonna get a slap on the wrist, bro. You would have got probation. Like, this is why I don't like. This is why we have to stop the narrative of, oh, the racist system. He probably swallowed them drugs thinking he was finna get like 50 years. Like, bro, you did not have to do all that.
Now,
but RIP Juice WRLD.
Tensions between the countries reach historic highs. Officials are trying to get Griner back to the Valley.
Whenever an American is detained anywhere in the world, we of course stand ready to provide every possible assistance.
Some worry that statement is only good in theory right now.
It's going to be very difficult.
Oh yeah, it's only in theory. It's definitely only in theory, because if they can't get a Marine back, a former Marine or a current Marine, whatever, bro, he's a POW, a prisoner of war. She ain't coming back. It'll be interesting to see, and I'm not wishing this upon her, but let's see how long Brittney Griner's wife stays down with, let's see how long she stays down before she go ahead and move on, because Brittney ain't coming home. It don't look like it, and I hope she does. And I pray that she does, and they can work it out in a diplomatic fashion where they can bring her and that Marine home. But if he ain't came home, she definitely not coming home.
Some worry that statement is only good in theory right now.
It's going to be very difficult. Our diplomatic relationships with Russia are non-existent at the moment.
And if a channel does open up, Griner's supporters worry
No, not free Brittney Griner. Oh my God. This is a virtue signal in and of itself. Because, I feel it, but at the end of the day, like, are y'all really supporting WNBA like that? Seriously.
Only focus will be Ukraine, or worse, Griner will be used as leverage.
Are you using her as a pawn because of what's going on in the global war? What's really happening?
Bro, it's not that she's a pawn. She broke the law, And they probably are going to use her as a pawn now, but it's like you have to understand the situation you're going into. You're in Russia. If you've been paying any lick of attention, even before they invaded Ukraine, we all knew that it was about to go down. We all knew this. We had plenty of time to prepare. So you're in Russia. Tensions are high. They've got troops on the border ready to invade any moment, and you are flying with hash pins. And they weren't even concealed well. They were just thrown in her luggage. Like, it was like easily accessible. Like, what are you doing?
My biggest fear is that she'll be a political pawn.
As the signatures on the petition reach the thousands, Griner's wife writing on Instagram, "There are no words to express this pain. We await the day to love on you as a family."
And tonight, both Arizona Senators Kelly and Sinema tell me they are working with the State Department to try and ensure Griner makes it back to the Valley as soon as possible. Zach Crenshaw, ABC 15, Arizona.
There's only so much I can say given privacy considerations at this point. Let me just say more generally, whenever an American is detained anywhere in the world, we of course stand ready to provide every possible assistance. And that includes in Russia. As you know, and we've talked about this for a long time, we've been seeking the release of Paul Whelan and Trevor Reed for some time, both of whom are unjustly detained. We have an embassy team that's working on the cases of other Americans who are detained in Russia. We're doing everything we can to see to it that their rights are upheld and respected. We've also advised Americans not to travel to Russia. Similarly,
yeah, no shit.
we're advising Americans in Russia to leave. But from my perspective, in times like these, it's important that we maintain our diplomatic contacts, that we maintain the diplomatic support, particularly support that we can provide to Americans who may need it. And so that's what I'm focused on doing.
Gang violence and other kind of violence.